Hey guys, I'm going to do as many of these short form videos as possible to try to get some of these political categories and concepts across to you. Now, I've talked several times before about philosophy, political philosophy, but you guys keep on asking, oh, what's the difference? What's political philosophy? Now, it is true they're closely related and they're connected 100%. But I've talked before about the categories of philosophy. And we've talked about how the virtues of a people give birth to a culture and a culture gives birth to a politic. But I noticed that really not a lot of people are talking about what exactly is politics. So to synthesize it into the most understandable concept, politics is composed of three categories. Now, if you're talking about the virtues giving birth, or ethics, giving birth to a culture and a culture giving birth to your politic, then what is the politic composed of? And the politic, all politics are composed of three major elements here, okay? That's going to be your principles, okay, that come from this culture, that come from these ethics and virtues. You're going to have the environment, and you're going to have the people, okay? Now, only one of these categories is immutable, or should be, and that would be your principles. Now, if it comes from a Christian perspective, then your principles that give birth to your politic should be unchangeable, right? Just like the laws of logic, unchangeable. But what we're dealing with here are also two categories that are not immutable. They're malleable. And that would be the people and the environment. Now, the people affect the environment, but what goes into the people can affect how they change the environment or how the environment is changed. So when we see elements like, for instance, if you change in a society the principles being supplied to them coming from Christianity and instead come from something like atheism and Marxism, don't you think that's going to change how the people act? Of course it is. So the people will affect a change in society and the environment. Now, they affect that change in a process of government and civics and so forth. And so when they implement these new virtues and enact them in society and then negate previous ethics, then they're going to change that entire environment around you. Okay? Now, the enemy, the Marxist enemy, knows this. The deconstructionists of white Western civilization know this, which is why the neo-Marxists of the Frankfurt School, like Herbert Marcuse and so forth, they did change and intentionally said that they need to change and negate the ethics of Western civilization. And therefore, they can create a new sensibility. Sensibility is just another term, a linguistic term. Like linguistic philosophy is the changing of a term can change how you think about things. So you wouldn't accept a new ethic and a new moral, but you'll understand a new sensibility. And the sensibility is these neo-Marxist tactics to negate the previous ethics and morals and replace them with something new. We see that happening around us. But these have been tactics, these neo-Marxist tactics have been put into place since the 1920s. Okay? And they got shut down during World War II by Germany. They got reintroduced. And so what they've been introducing is a total Marxist ethic that changes the people and changes the environment, okay? So what we've been seeing over the past few years, though, ironically, is a lot of people are waking up and they're the normies, even the atheists, are saying, my goodness, things are so bad. How did it get that bad? This is how it got that bad, okay? It didn't just happen. This isn't just about like the cycle of a civilization where it's like birth, stasis, degeneration, destruction, rebirth. Oops, wrong way. This was intentionally supplanted, these principles, and these people were affected by this new sensibility, okay? That's how it happened. And that's how you end up getting people thrown in jail for reading the Bible because it offends a certain group. versus 100 years ago, the total opposite happened. Total opposite happened. So this is what politics is. Politics is categorized by your principles, your people in the environment, and the environment. And only the people affects the environment. The principles are inert and they only act through hypostatic means, hypostases, upostases, through people, right? And if you change the principles that make up the value systems in a people and a nation, then you're going to change the environment. Again, the enemy knows this. The only way back is to return back to Christian principles in people's minds and hearts. Even if you're an atheist, agnostics out there, even if you're an atheist, if you think everything's crazy and degenerate, if not, then you're already the enemy. But if you're an atheist and you say, how do we get back to normalcy? This is what you do. You have to. Now, you don't have to be Christian to follow these principles of goodness that were established for the better part of hundreds and hundreds of years, pretty much 1,500 years of Christianity. But really, the question is then, if you're not Christian and you try to enact Christian virtues, eventually you come to a point where you say, well, why should I enact Christian virtues? When you have no justification for doing so, then you're a very dangerous individual because you could flip to the other side instantaneously at any time. And once you do that, then you'll betray us, right? And so you're not very trustworthy. So I'm not saying that happens every time. I'm just saying in general, this is how we get back. Whether you're Christian, whether you want to be Christian, whether you're not agnostic, whatever. You want to save the West? This is how we do it. And that's what politics is. And that's how to subvert and fight back against neo-Marxism, critical theory, deconstructionism, and anti-white hatred.